Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1661B, and today's date is September 11th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Attention on Deck, Battle Stations, Prepare If You Have Not. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, as we know, the FISA release is coming very, very soon. And what Trump and the Patriots are doing right now, they're bringing all those involved to the forefront and weakening certain individuals. Now, if we look at certain people that have been fired, demoted, we can see that they have been weakened. Look at Comey. He lied. He was fired. Strzok, fired. McCabe, fired. All these individuals were weakened because of the text messages that came out and how they lied to the government. Bruce and Nellie Orr, they have been weakened. Brennan was weakened by security clearance that was completely taken away from him. Rod Rosenstein is weakened because he's in the center of all of this. Clinton is being weakened because Trump continually puts out the message that she should be in jail. Keeps on bringing up the Clinton email investigation, Uranium One, and so forth. Now Trump is in the process of making Obama look weak, continually hammering at him after each one of his speeches, proving him wrong, and basically bringing him down to a very weakened level. He's also now doing this with Eric Holder, and Trump is out there hitting Holder right now with certain tweets, and Holder responded in a tweet that September 11th is not a day for usual unhinged Trump politics. And we see that this is all being done on purpose. It's to bring all these individuals. Think about what's happening right now. Trump right now is bringing all these individuals that you really didn't hear from all of a sudden out into the spotlight. You want to hear from these people. You want to put their faces back on TV, because when the FISA memo drops, when the 20 pages comes out, they want everyone to know who these individuals are, and they want them in a very weakened state. And this is what we see happening right now. This is in preparation for the FISA drop. And it's not just going to be the FISA drop. We're going to see a lot more information come out after this, but this is the beginning stages. And then we're going to have the investigations. Then we're going to have the indictments. This is all planned out and coordinated to continue this throughout this year and next year, non-stop, hitting the news every single day to bring all of these people to their feet. And the reason why they're planning it this way and not just having a one-off thing is because the mainstream media will eventually have to report on something. What are they going to do? They're just going to ignore everything every single day. It'd be very difficult to do. Yes, they might bring up other types of news cycles or things like that, which it seems like they're preparing to do right now. Think about what's happening. We have a hurricane off the coast of North Carolina, the storm. We have chemical weapons, and we'll get into that a little bit later, out in Syria. And we have this new book that's out there, and Omarosa, and they're trying to keep all this in the news cycles to keep the news from coming out when this FISA 20 pages drops. They're trying to keep other news in the news cycle to make sure that nobody understands what this is. And this is why this is not the only drop. That's why there's going to be a lot more drops coming. This is just the beginning stages. But what's very interesting is that there are new Strzok page texts which discuss FBI media leak strategy. So these newly released text messages between FBI agent Peter Strzok and former FBI attorney Lisa Page regarding a media leak strategy have come under intense scrutiny, as they were exchanged one day before and one day after a bombshell Washington Post article during a critical point in the Trump-Russia investigation. And this report is coming from Sarah Carter. The text messages revealed Monday by Representative Mark Meadows and sent the day before and after to two damaging articles about former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page raise grave concerns regarding an apparent systematic culture of media leaking by high-ranking officials at the FBI and Department of Justice related to ongoing investigations. Recall that Strzok Strzok's boss, former FBI Director Andrew McCabe, he was fired for authorizing self-serving leaks to the press. Also recall that text messages released in January revealed that Lisa Page was on the phone with Washington Post reporter Devlin Barrett, then with New York Times, when the reopening of the Clinton Foundation investigation hit the news cycle. Just one example in a series of text messages matching up with the mainstream media reports relying on leaked information, which was reported by a conservative treehouse. Now, let's take a look at these text messages. Page, 5:19 p.m. Still on the phone with Devlin. Mike's phone is on fire. Strzok, 5:29 p.m. You might want to tell Devlin he should turn on CNN. There's news on. Page, 5:30 p.m. He knows. He just got handed a note. Strzok, 5:33 p.m. Ha, he's asking about it now. Page, 5:34 p.m. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Coming now. At 5:36 p.m., Devlin Barrett tweets. This is a possibility per sources. Devlin Barrett. So the newly released Strzok Page texts reveal more of the same. Timeline is crucial here. April 10th, 2017. Strzok sends text to Lisa Page regarding media leak strategy. April 11th, 2017. Washington Post publishes the bombshell Carter Page FISA story. April 12th, 2017. Strzok texts Lisa Page about Carter Page stories. Now, the review of the documents suggests that the FBI and Department of Justice coordinated efforts to get information to the press that would potentially be harmful to Trump and the administration. Those leaks pertained to information regarding the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court warrant used to spy on short-term campaign volunteer Carter Page. The letter lists several examples. April 10th, 2017. Peter Strzok contacts Lisa Page to discuss a media leak strategy. Specifically, the texts say, I had literally just gone to find this phone to tell you I want to talk to you about media leak strategy with the Department of Justice before you go. April 12, 2017. Peter Strzok congratulates Lisa Page on a job well done while referring to derogatory articles about Carter Page. In the text, Strzok warns Page 2 articles are coming out, one which is worse than the other about Lisa's namesake. Strzok added, well done, Page. So Meadows says that the texts show a coordinated effort on the part of the FBI and Department of Justice to release information in the public domain potentially harmful to President Trump's administration. So this information continually comes out. This is all being used right now to show the American public that they're implicated in all of this. And this is not even the bombshell yet. This is just the warm-up. This is just the stuff that we can see. Everything else that comes out is going to blow all of this out of the water. But the whole purpose of this is to get the American public used to seeing all of this and putting together the story of what it's been all about. Now, a lot of people I know have not seen this. A lot of people, because they've been watching the mainstream media, have no clue that this is even being done. Even if the mainstream media does report on it, they spin it in the way they want to spin it and say, yeah, there's nothing here. But when we get the unredacted, the declassified report, well, everything that the mainstream media has been saying is going to go down the tubes. We see Sessions right now welcomes 44 new U.S. immigration judges. And there are about 700,000 immigration cases in the backlogs. They're bringing in more immigration judges, and they just received funding for 100 new immigration judges and their teams during the 2018 fiscal year. So we're going to see a lot more immigration judges come in, and they're going to be handling all of these cases. We see out in Afghanistan, the Taliban is preparing to send a delegation for further talks with the U.S. officials about ending the conflict in Afghanistan. Taliban leaders are meeting to discuss the makeup of the 3 or 4 person delegation, and the subjects to be discussed are prisoner exchange, peace in the land, who's getting certain land and things like that. So they're going to be working all of this out, and we can see that these talks are moving forward. We see out in Syria, Russia is reporting that the White Helmet, the paid mercenaries, they have begun filming the staged chemical attacks in Syria. And they're saying that they're preparing and they're getting ready. They're filming all of it to show that, yes, there was a chemical attack. Now, Remember, we know that this is a false flag. We know the deep state is using this to protect their paid mercenary forces, to protect the deep state operators in this Idlib area, to protect their weapons, their infrastructure, their chemical weapons facilities, and everything else that they have there. And we know that's what they're doing right now. And the deep state, yes, they're on the side of al-Qaeda. They always have been. The intelligence agencies created them. They supported them. They funded them, just like the Islamic State, just like al-Nusra. They're all one and the same. The moderate rebels, they're all one and the same. What is happening right now is that they are surrounded by Russia and Syria. They're getting prepared for this false flag. We know it's a false flag because we've seen this before. They want, and I'm talking about the Trump administration, the military intelligence, they want the deep state to pull this off. They want the false flag. They want this because this will give them the excuse to bomb their area. Think about this for a second. If Russia and Syria go into this area and hit the United States, the deep state is going to turn around with all the mainstream media saying Russia and Syria just attacked U.S. forces, right? That's the story we would hear. If they use a chemical attack and Trump comes out and says, oh, this dirty, rotten scoundrel Assad, he's going down, and you can see Trump is already saying that they're going to get hit stronger than ever before, they're going to use the missiles once again, or whatever they're going to use, they're going to hit this area. The deep state can't turn around and say the U.S. just hit the U.S. It wouldn't make sense. This is why it has to play out this way, just like it played out the other two times. The mainstream media, quiet, crickets. They couldn't say a word. It's all part of the plan. And we can see in the next couple of days, the mainstream media, they're going to keep this in the news cycle to divert from what is coming. And they're trying to do whatever they possibly can to keep other news in the news cycle so they don't have to report on the FISA. But I do believe the military intelligence, Trump, the Patriots, Q, they have something else planned. Let's get into some of Q's posts, but first I want to read from Rex, and this is from Rex's Twitter feed, and I just want to read through this. Number 1, here's a thought for you guys to chew on. Assuming that the declassified FISA release is imminent, could it be that one of Mueller's objectives all along has been to try and legitimize it? Consider the following. Number 2, Mueller would have seen the unredacted FISA application in May 2017 at the latest. Since the hashtag fake news had it since March 2017, he had no doubt had access to it way beforehand. So he looks at it and thinks, if this ever sees the light of day, all my swamp buddies are screwed. Number 3, but he's not dumb. Arrogant and haughty, yes, but Mueller's intelligent, cunning, swamp king. So Trump wins, and Mueller immediately realizes if we can't get rid of Trump, this FISA will be released. But here's the thing. Number 4, everyone assumes that the FBI Department of Justice criminals were only targeting innocent Carter Page. But what if the warrant included other individuals, for example, Paul Manafort or George Papadopoulos or General Flynn? If you were Mueller, what's your strategy? Number 5, well, if you know the release of the unredacted FISA is almost certain, the strategy might be to hammer every individual in it so you can try and legitimize the fact that they were included in the document later, right? There's another possibility too. Let's say Carter Page was the sole target of the FISA warrant, but there's evidence that the 3 individuals above were deliberately targeted and surveilled illegally via the warrant. The logic still holds. Mueller singles them out. Why? To make sure that when the document is released, there's some pretext or excuse available for the original decision to target them. We honestly thought at the time that they may be dodgy. After all, look what Special Counsel Mueller has found out about them. Retrospective legitimacy. This retrospective legitimization of illegal conduct is an MO we have seen used repeatedly by the FBI Department of Justice crooks. Remember, the October 2016 FISA was in itself probable window dressing to legitimize prior warrantless surveillance on not just Trump but other GOP candidates. Illegal spying that many of us think dates back to 2015. And to any liberals out there reading this, Don't assume that your side was immune from Clinton and Obama's goons. Bernie Sanders was almost certainly their target. Wouldn't surprise me if they targeted Stein also. Mueller, using the same strategy since 2017, is consistent with what his crooked buddies were up to for years beforehand. It also ties in with their strategy of information laundering with corrupt fake news partisans embedded in media outlets. These people were so evil, they obviously couldn't care less about the innocent people they were destroying. People with families, reputations, hopes, and dreams like we all have. I want them all punished, publicly and without quarter, for what they've done. We will soon learn far more about the attempted hit these criminals tried to make on POTUS, to rig an election and then subvert inaugurated administration. This unredacted FISA should be fascinating, especially if it's accompanied by the 302s. A very worrying issue. Who else did they go after between 2008 and 2016? This was a well-oiled machine Obama had going. They'd done it before. The question becomes, how many innocent people were targeted by these criminals? I guess we will find out over the coming years. In the meantime, they're about to learn the wisdom of this old saying. Lies will always be bitter in the end, no matter how sweet you made them at the beginning. They thought she'd never lose. They thought wrong. #MAGA, the end. Let's get into Q's posts. 2131, Q puts up the article from Sarah Carter. We already went over this. New texts reveal FBI leaked information to the press to damage Trump. And we can see at this point that Sarah Carter continually comes out with these articles. And we know that Q is helping Sarah Carter with these stories, and they're continually dropping the breadcrumbs to get the public used to all of this. We see in post 2132, it just put it's blank with a number, which is a reference to a post 2962342 in the 8chan boards. And we're going to move on to post 2133, and this all makes sense in a little bit. Here it says, and this anonymous put it up, buckle up, buttercups, it's about to get bumpy. And then Q put up 2962827. So this should be getting everyone excited here, because we know that it's coming very, very soon. And what I mean by it's coming, the FISA drop is coming very soon. Post 2134. Think Department of Justice FBI classified leaks to fake news. Insert into FISA app in effort to provide news sources. Number 1989718. Brackets bold today. Review of the new documents raises grave concerns regarding an apparent systematic culture of media leaking by high-ranking officials at the FBI and Department of Justice related to ongoing investigations. Gave a link to Sarah Carter, and this is a letter from Meadows and Rosenstein, and you can read the entire letter on the X22Report.com site, or you can click on the link and you can go over to Sarah Carter's site and read the letter from Mark Meadows. Post 2135. Q puts up, or Anonymous put up, Q knowledge is power, thanks and Godspeed. And then Q puts, how do you know when something very big is about to drop? Attacks increase from all directions. Ready the memes. You have more than you know. Keep up the good fight. We stand together. Now, this was put from post 2125. And Q follows up with samples of all the links where it says impeach Trump, impeach Trump, impeach Trump. And that's all they're continually saying in all the mainstream media news outlets. Impeach, impeach, impeach. That's pretty much it. This is their last desperate cry to try to get him out unless they try to assassinate him. Post 2136. Anonymous put up a picture with timestamps of Trump's tweet of the storms and the tweet on 8chan of one of his last posts here. And we can see that the timestamps are 14:35:16, and on his tweet it's 12:35 p.m. And basically what this is Q telling us that they made the posts at the same time that the president made his tweet. So he's basically spelling it out for many people, but the lines are literally just connected to 0 delta. And that's what they're pointing to right here, showing that it was done. And yes, there's a margin of error because it can't be exact, but it's pretty darn close when they did this all at once. 2137, Anonymous puts up battle stations ready, where we go one, where we go all. And Q put up, we are with you, where we go one, we go all, Q. Post 2138, Q put up graphics showing 2 time zones. Update requested, brackets, bold, 0:00. So Q asked for the graphic to have better, clearer time zones. These proofs are important, especially when clowns like Pasobic and Microchip start tweeting. So in post 2139, they put up very clear graphics. They put up Trump's tweet. They put up the post that Q made and showed 0 time. Yeah, I think there's a 10-second lag here. And actually Q says, Annans catch it all. 2 devices used, 1 carrier, pushed exactly at the same time, 10-second variance, device lag or feeder site delay, request fulfilled. And Q is basically saying that it's very difficult to post at the same exact time unless you're coordinating all of this. So many people brought up, well, what happens if I just keep on hitting refresh and wait to see if Trump, posted something? Well, by the time you hit refresh and see that tweet and you try to post something on the board, you're going to have like 50, 60, 70, 80 seconds apart. Even if you have something, typed in, it doesn't happen that quickly. But if you're both there together and you push it at the same time, you're going to have that 5-10 second variance. Really, you're going to see 0 time there. And this is a Q proof. 2140, Anonymous put up, the link post must be added to the graphic, request filled, Q. Q wrote, make it and they will crumb. So you can see right now that it was all coordinated. We're going to be moving on to post 2141. Anonymous put up, God wins, has a picture of, it looks like the devil. Below it is Trump. And it says, that's a perfect proof, guys. Request heard, delivered. No coincidences. Thanks for doing that, Q. Under that, it says, Anonymous, anyone that complained about a 10-second delta would have complained about a 10 millisecond delta. Obvious answer was lag. Thank you, Q. Q wrote, we thank you. Shills only shill. Patriots win. Q. Post 2142. Anonymous puts up the same 0 delta, puts up below, updated to show the Annan's post, and pretty much Annan came back with a better version of the proof, and it just looks a lot better now. That's pretty much it. Post 2143, Anonymous puts up, ban of Annans. There was a time when the world asked ordinary men to do extraordinary things. Under it, it says, we serve at the pleasure of the president. And Anon put up, and it's pointing to Reddit, and this is about a meme. And if you want to see the meme, you can come to the X22Report.com site, or if you're on YouTube, you're seeing it now. Q put, hoo-ah, Oscar-worthy, Q. Let's move on to post 2144. Q put up 2 Twitter links, one to the New York Post, one to Sky News. The one from Sky News says, drinking young blood could prevent age-related diseases, study reveals. The New York Post says, a study has found drinking young people's blood could help you live longer and prevent age-related diseases. And then Q put, nothing to see here. So what are they doing right now? They're trying to project this out there to make you used to the idea that it's okay to drink young children's blood. Because, again, the push here is for the deep state to bring what they've been doing, where they have human trafficking, they drink young kids' bloods, and things like that, into the forefront, and to make it seem like it's absolutely normal. Post 2146 put up a Twitter feed, and this is the one that points to the Punisher, and it says, prepare your memes. Non-NSA tech today cannot read filter. Attention on deck, Q says, battle stations, memes at the ready. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Post 2147, same thing that Q just put up there from the last post, put up the lights where the World Trade Center used to stand and said, we will never forget, we will never forgive. And a couple of Anons said the following. The first Anon said, you know something? 9/11/01 is actually the mirror of 1/01/19. And if you look at the executive order 13825, it takes effect on 10119, which is the mirror of 9/11/2001. This is very interesting. And when you look at it, this amendment that Trump put out there, the executive order 13825, it's the 2018 amendments to the Manual for Court-Martials in the United States. And remember, he updated. This goes into effect January 1st, 2019. So this is very interesting, and we are approaching that date. And when you look through this executive order, you can see there's many parts where everything before January 1st, 2019, you are subject to a court-martial if you did something wrong in this new executive order. And the date shows up many, many times throughout this entire thing. Was this done on purpose? Is this a coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. It looks like it was done on purpose. Post 2148, Q put up no private comms, past, present, future, no comms made outside of this platform. And this is from post 513. Now remember, yesterday we talked about this Binney Steele interview, and it looks like that Binney and these individuals are saying that they know who Q is, they're in contact with Q, and Q is out there saying, yeah, this is not true whatsoever. Remember, no comms with anyone privately, no comms outside of this platform. So with this interview, it looks like they're saying that, they know who Q is, they've been speaking to Q, and Q is out there saying this is not true whatsoever. And we know from JTF MAGA, we know from OANN, it looks like it's all corrupted, and this has nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with Q whatsoever, and I think Q is just pointing this out here. Post 2149, Q put up a link to a video about the World Trade Center coming down. It's a must-see 9/11 tribute, and if you want to see the whole thing, you can come to the X22Report.com site, click on the link, it'll bring you to the video. You're seeing a portion of the video on YouTube right now, but if you want to see the rest, you can do the same thing or search for it on the web or in YouTube. And Q says, we will never forget, we will never forgive, and then gave a link to whitehouse.gov. This is the President's Proclamation, Patriot Day 2018, and under it says Patriot Day Q. Now, Q is referencing the lives lost, not the official narrative. Our country was attacked. That is true. The origin of attack has not been confirmed by Q, nor has it been mentioned. Now, a lot of people have theories. We've been looking into 9/11 quite a while. A lot of people have. And we know it most likely has to do with the Bushes, Mossad, and many others that were involved in doing this. And you can go into it very, very deep. A lot of people have been doing this. But a better way to make people remember the atrocity the deep state did on 9/11 and for years after that, than to proclaim a Patriot Day on this day. And an anon came up with the following. Now, every year will this event officially renew memories, and the last nail in the coffin to the deep state and capitalistic cronies is one that will give the Patriot Day gravity stronger than that of the black hole. D-class revelation of who did it, who was involved, and what was the plan. They will never be able to do anything like that anymore after this. A very nice master plan. And I don't believe Q saying that we should all just believe the official narrative. I think what's happening here is that this is being linked to Patriots Day because it happened on Patriots Day. And they're saying, listen, the Patriots know what happened. We're going to reveal what happened. And every time Patriot Day comes up, it's the Patriots that revealed what happened on 9/11. So we can see that Q says we will never forget, we will never forgive. Forgive those individuals that perpetrated 9/11, the deep state, Mossad, and the rest. So we can see that all of this is being brought out, and I think eventually the truth will come out, but we have to take one step at a time. Yes, it would be great if we had 9/11 and every single other false flag come out all at once, but that's quite impossible because the American public would have a complete meltdown. They would not be able to handle it, and it would be a complete disaster. Bring out the truths right now, like the FISA and everything else, and then move in to the other things later on. Because once you establish the truth and people start to believe, it's much easier to bring out everything else later on. And I think this is the beginning stages, and this is the beginning of the truth movement. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.